Namaste, viewers. Again, we are back with Dharmesh, Mehta, and Kṣaṇāti, Jyotish, and this is a second part of moon in the different ascendant and different moon signs. We have reached till Aries to Virgo ascendant in the previous video, and here onwards we are touching with the Libra to Pisces. Where the moon sign is placed and how that people, that ascendant, those who born in that ascendant, how they are affected with the moon position that we are about to explain in this video. So let's start with the Libra, right? So Libra, see in Libra ascendant, the moon has a position of a 10th house. Now here, their creativity, because 10th house we believe as a deed, karma. There is like a Taurus ascendant where the moon was a third lord. Here, as a second part of a Venus ascendant. See here, the Venus is a more dominating for the Libra and less for the Virgo. So here they are more dominating as a Libra, and you will find the Libra people having a very creativity in their act. Whatever they do, they create the emotions because their deeds, their performance are such that it creates the deeds, and you also like to follow that kind of feelings. In Libra ascendant, we have an example of like Hitler. We have an example of Mr. Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, revolutionary leader. So they are the people who are very strong with their own determination, but simultaneously they are creating emotions by their deeds. Their deeds, their saying, and their performing are not different. Even though that Venus is not considering a moon as its friend, but here the creativity, the act, the name, fame, recognition, acceptance by the people, these all are matters very well than this. Although the Libra people are very artistic and very creative people, that real creativity will become to the surface. It comes to the people by 10th house moon, because moon is a good counselor, good feelings, good understanding. So there, whatever the feelings are there, whatever that they want to show to the people, they dictate to the people. They want to come their work to be appreciated and come into the surface. This all will be backed by the moon in as being a 10th lord, and being a moon 10th lord, it is aspecting 4th house, again giving pleasure also. They are a pleasure seeking being a Libra ascendant people, but as they are not so much having good cardinal relation with the moon, but still moon is performing something different as a deed. Whether you like or not, you have to perform certain duties in your lifetime. So these are the Libra people, are they very much into the arts, creativity, and Venus related luxury things. But that deeds, when the matter of a deeds appears, matter of the creativity appears, they are very emotional, and their work, they might be having done certain work which will be remembered by the people for a year. So this kind of work, Libra ascendant people having a 10th house moon are affecting in their deeds with the people. So you may put your, I'm keen to wait for what the inputs put by the Kṣaṇāti. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Dharmesh ji. Yes, I think it's interesting whenever we talk about this interaction between Venus and Moon. And I feel like it can either be something that's very beautiful or be something which is very ugly. And I just mean that to point that in terms of the extremes, in terms of the dualities which you experience. Now, for the Libra ascendant, their dharma is the experience of duality. So they are meant to have this experience on the material world, but they're also meant to have an experience on a greater, on a deeper, more meaningful level as well. But the moon rulership falls under the 10th house. And so when you're looking at that moon rulership on the 10th house, that means they care very much about their careers. So to have someone who is Libra ascendant, then they have the moon in Cancer in 10th house. This is very good position. So the moon can act as, if it's in a good position for the Libra ascendant, it incredibly promote their career. If the moon is in bad position, it will show obstacles in their career. It will show hurdles in their career. But for any kind of artist, it's good for them to put their emotional energy out and towards their career. And sometimes the 10th house means being seen on a public level, or being seen on a stage, or being seen in front of other people. And so for the Libra ascendant, it's good for them to get out there and put themselves in front of other people, and put themselves in front of this world, and to work on their confidence. And so there is this Cancer influence on the 10th house, which is saying, okay, even though I am an artist, I'm putting all of my emotional energy into my career, into what I am working towards, into this reputation. Sometimes you can think of having an artist as having a nonchalant attitude, but that is not true with the Libra ascendant. Because of that influence of the moon on the 10th house, they are very deeply sensitive when it comes to their work, when it comes to their career. And this moon influence on the 10th house means that if their work and their career is not good, then they are not going to be happy. So it's something that, again, in one respect, the Cancer is showing up as a weak spot, which just means if I don't have my success or my passion or my enthusiasm to my career, then for a Libra ascendant, it's hard to be happy. So they have to have that career element that's going to be important to them.
Yeah, very rightly speak about the combination of Mercury and the Moon. And we have seen two different dimensions as per the Gemini ascendant and as per the Virgo ascendant, and how the people, the relation and the people change. The same way in the Venus, we have seen the two dimension of Venus in the Taurus ascendant and the Libra ascendant, how the angle change. Again, the next angle is going to change in the Scorpio ascendant, being a Mars. Now, being a Mars, here what happens that it's being ascendant lord as a Mars, and luck, that is a ninth lord, is a Moon. So the person is made up of his own ability, and now he has to follow, because as I told you, the ninth house is the life path. So he has to follow the life path of emotional. Person itself is a practical. The person himself is a being practical. He has to follow the path of emotion. See how the dimension change. As in Aries, the person is a very materialistic in the ascendant, the Aries sign, and in the house of pleasure, they have a moon sign. So they are seeking some kind of pleasure from the fourth house. But here it's a totally reverse. And moon is not considered good for the Scorpio ascendant. Being it's double-headed sign, it's not giving the full confidence to the people. But as compared to the Aries, the Scorpio people being having a negative, kind of a negative energy comprised with themselves, because it's a eighth lord, Kalpurusha eighth sign, and Scorpio being the animal as the symbol as a scorpion. They are having some kind of a crooked nature or some kind of a revengeous nature. Now this revenge, this kind of attitude or nature, can it be changed? Yeah, it can be changed by the ninth lord as a moon. Here moon will control the emotions, and moon will make him in the right path, because life path as well as your spiritual path, both are from the ninth house. So here the combination is good for the moon, as in the ninth lord. He can influence the ascendant lord by whatever the negativity person possesses himself, or he tried to now put the virus to the many people in the society. Here the role of moon comes, and he take over the all the emotions, and he try to understand the other people that this is not fact what this person are saying, but it can be diverse. This person's attitude, this person nature also can be changed by diverting them into the religious and spiritual matter. By diverting to the religious spiritual activities or charity activities, these people can be changed, and they are earning and they are gaining much result, not even in this life, not in the future time, but for next life also. So to invest something for your next life, whatever we suffer this life, we don't have any idea. But now you got a conscious, now you know what to do and how to enhance your future life also, or future birth also. So that way, this is a very important for Scorpio people having a moon lord in the ninth house. And now we'll listen the inputs by Kṣaṇāti. Please put your inputs.
Thank you, Dr. Dharmesh. Just like when we talked about the Cancer ascendant, the important position of the moon, well, also because Mars can be so difficult on that moon for the Cancer ascendant, the position of the Mars for the Cancer ascendant is important too. Now, when we get to the position for the Scorpio ascendant, the position of the Mars is going to be important. If the Scorpio ascendant's Mars is not good, and also the moon is also not good, this is a very, very difficult position. But if the Mars is good and the moon is not good, it can help balance it out as the Scorpio ascendant. So if the position of even for the Scorpio ascendant, the moon will be difficult. And you're having this influence on the ninth house. So there is this spiritual evolutionary energy which is connected to the emotion. And when it comes to the Scorpio energy, it's a very emotional energy, but it's very different than the emotional energy of the moon. It's
Right.
it's very intense. It's very fiery. It's not as kapha. It's not as watery. So there is there is a difficult relationship for the Scorpio ascendant and then the rulership of that ninth house. But if the moon position is good and the Mars position is good for the Scorpio ascendant, they could be very pious and spiritual, because the Scorpio ascendant, when Dr. Dharmesh mentioned, they might have these secrets that they're holding, but if they conquer their demons, which also Scorpio is very transformative. So hopefully these Scorpio ascendant people, they find their demons and they face their demons. And then they will conquer their demons. And then that moon vibration, which is coming into the ninth house, allows them to be spiritually or religiously devout. So it's when they give up the old life that they live of alcohol and gambling and prostitution, and then they decide to live a life of a religious monk. And then, so it's this transformative energy, the emotional energy moving to the ninth house will allow the Scorpio person to look at their darkest, deepest demon in the face. And hopefully I give everyone the inspiration to conquer those demons.
Yes, very much. Very, very rightly say that kind of a transformation, because they might be wrong in the initial state, they might be not in the right path, but religion, spirituality, being a ninth lord as a moon, that development start in the human beings, and that leads to wipe out whatever the bad deeds he has done in the earlier time or earlier life. So that's a very interesting that a person can be changed from the extreme to the positive. It's extreme on the other side and just turn into the positive. So that's a great outcome of this ascendant you have rightly mentioned. Now it will be a Sagittarius, which is come forward first time as a Jupiter ascendant. We have just now completed the Mars, Sun, Moon already completed. Then Mars, Venus, and Mercury. They are also double ascendant lord. Now here we'll see the Sagittarius ascendant Dhanur Lagna, where the lordship is Jupiter, and here the moon is placing the eighth lord. So, being a Jupiter, considering moon as a friendly sign, do the eighth house lord has any say in your life? Do you have any say? Yes, you have a say, not in the positive mode, but that might be some kind of a fear, some kind of anxiety, some kind of a negative aspect of a life related to the fourth house ascendant. Now, this Sagittarius people itself are a very religious person, being a ascendant lord as a Jupiter. The ninth sign is also indicating the future time, future development, and whatever you are going to enjoy in the later on. So Sagittarius ascendant, in spite of a moon having a eight lord, they are very good person by which they are getting a good knowledge, a secret work out by others. So their secret, their research becomes so easy. These people being a Sagittarius, they are always into the education, they are always into the kind of a knowledge industry. So being into that industry, they get the things automatically. Either they get intuition, because eighth house is for the intuition also. So they might be getting intuition through the moon, through meeting the people, to getting a nightmare. So some kind of a positive response, and we can say is inner booster, because Jupiter is very well considered moon as its friend. In spite the moon is not considered Jupiter as its friend or intimate friend, but still the Jupiter needs the energy of a eighth house by overcoming its fear. It's a overcome of fear from this house. So they are over fearing their luck, they are over fearing their own deeds because of the moon lordship in the eighth house. And this is influenced by the people that people get whenever they are into meditation. For moon, I only give the remedy as a meditation, because by meditating, you are concentrating your energy, you are shuffling your energy to the right place, and due to that right place, in your life, you'll never face any problem. So, in spite of a eighth lord, the moon has a positive aspect on the spirituality, is a good aspect in the related to religious matter, inner focus. This all the things which where the guru Jupiter is a landlord, Jupiter is a ascendant lord, and the eighth lord being a moon. But still, he has confidence that no, I am treating you as a friend, so you will be going to enjoy everything with me as a friend only. You can't stand when you are in the lower position that you will be in the rebellious nature. So that's a kind of a rebellious nature is not found here in the Virgo Sagittarius ascendant. But still, sometimes if this moon is not so powerful, people may incline to this schizophrenic or mental disorder. So that one has to check and do the research on this domain. So I would like Ksanati to put your views about the moon in the eighth house or eighth lord in the Sagittarius ascendant. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Dharmesh. Yes, it's always fascinating to look at a Jupiter and moon relationship, especially considering the fact that Guru is exaltation sign is Cancer. So there is something to be said about this position, and when it comes into the proper alignment, it really being a very powerful, devotional, spiritual vibration. Now, the Sagittarius Lagna, they're very moral, very ethical, and this rulership of Jupiter, and then they have Cancer vibration in the and the moon rulership over the eighth house. So they have a moral and an ethical nature, and yet they have their curiosity, which is very strong with the Scorpio vibration, and then they have that coming in through the eighth house. So.
Right.
So this energy of the eighth house means, okay, I'm on my moral and ethical path, but I might commit the occasional prajna parada. I might commit the occasional crime against wisdom. In other words, I'm striving to be the best person I can be. I'm striving to be because that's the Sagittarius Lagna energy, is a moral and an ethical and a wisdom evolutionary energy. But because of that Cancer energy and rulership over the 8th house, they have certain desires that takes them away from their higher self, that takes them away from their guru. So the Sagittarius Lagna, they might have certain hidden desires or certain hidden temptations, which they might experience from their moon rulership. Now, if the moon is in very good position for the Sagittarius Lagna, then they can be very austere. And I mean that they can be austere in the sense of that they have strong spiritual sadhana, they do not drink alcohol, they are very spiritually disciplined. And this is when the moon and the rulership over that 8th house is in good position. They can be very interested in spiritual practices. But as Dr. Dharmesh mentioned, the 8th house is also the house of vulnerability. So for the Sagittarius ascendant, there's an emotional vulnerability here. You know, they can be seeking to fulfill their dharma and to do the right thing, but there is that vulnerability coming from the moon in the 8th house. So that's where certain disorders, which Dr. Dharmesh mentioned, come in. So that's a little bit of the spectrum for the Sagittarius Lagna. And and this is very interesting. They'll start looking at the Jupiter and the moon relationship.
Yeah, that's rightly speaking by yourself, that angle of a Jupiter and moon is always being attracted to each other. It's not on the one side, but it's always being both the side they are attracting to each other, and being exaltation also happens in the Jupiter into the means Cancer sign of a moon only. So insidely they are one. They need each other's support, because here the ascendant lord is a Jupiter and moon is a 8th lord. Moon has a less say, but the Jupiter has a more say, and Jupiter here need more things, more secret from the person or a native. So rightly speaking, moving ahead to again a new single ascendant as a Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by the Saturn. So Saturn ruled Capricorn, and in this ascendant, the moon position is in directly into the 7th house. The Capricorn ascendant people ruled by the Saturn, and 7th house is been appreciated, or its lordship with the moon. So here there's some kind of conflict of interest of ascendant lord being the Saturn and the 7th lord being the moon, as it is. People are facing lot of difficulties, lot of wrong people in their life, or they are selecting some spouse, because 7th house is for the spouse also. So in spite of their searching for the spouse, it may be misleading to them, because they, being a Saturn people, being a practical people, being a straightforward people, how they can how can they believe the moon in the 7th position? So whatever the 7th position of moon is there in the chart, it's being very it is not been appreciated in the Capricorn ascendant, being a 7th lord as the moon. So here that's enmity also comes, and you are very theoretical, very practical aspect people, or project in related person, but your opposite person to whom you are facing, they are very emotional. So here the tip is that those who are in the Aquarius ascendant, Capricorn ascendant, should always listen to their 7th house and always try to understand what they really need, and you can help by making their life somewhat smooth. So that the Capricorn ascendant is there, it will be always being very well organized with the moon in the 7th house, and it is directly influencing directly affecting the first house itself. So some kind of a changes, some kind of a emotional things may develop in the later stage in this life. So that's all about the Capricorn ascendant. You may continue in the same ascendant.
Thank you, Dr. Dharmesh. And now we talk about Saturn and Moon. And I always think of it very interesting as this Capricorn Cancer axis. And in Capricorn is Shravana Nakshatra. And,
Yeah.
and Shravana act a lot like Cancer. So there is this very interesting vibration that comes through of the relationship between Capricorn and Cancer and the Saturn
Yeah.
and the Moon. And
Right.
when you're looking at the Capricorn ascendant, they are ruled by Shani from Shanaisharaya. So this rulership of Shani over them means that they might have certain challenges in their life. They might have certain adversities in their life. And so what do they need in their life in order to go through those things? Well, they need a partner who cares.
Mm.
They need
Right.
they need a husband or wife who cares about them, who when the
Emotionally.
going gets tough is not going to give up on them just because things are difficult. Because
Mm.
for the
Right.
Capricorn Lagna, they need someone who is going to be very dedicated, very stable and secure and grounded vibration. And
Right.
so this vibration, they need someone who is going to, because the thing about the Capricorn ascendant is they don't really like to complain, because
Okay.
if they complain, it keeps them from progressing.
Mhm, mhm.
Um,
Right.
but they need someone who they can trust, who they can lean on their shoulder,
Care.
that they can
Right.
rely on. And that's that seventh house influence on the moon for the Cancer ascendant. And so understanding the importance of the partner to help kind of balance out the energy for the Capricorn ascendant. And again, this is a challenging aspect because for the Capricorn ascendant, if the moon is in a bad position, then
Mm.
maybe again, this shows something that we've discussed consistently with the moon, which is being in an unhealthy relationship.
Right. Right.
I've seen Capricorn ascendant in the chart of people with many marriages, and sometimes they don't even believe in marriage. They have many partners, so there can be very different approach to this marriage energy, which is more emotionally based. And so yeah, that's just some of the energy I wanted to remark on the seventh house for Capricorn ascendant.
Yeah. Very well said that they can't leave each other and they cannot join together with each other. So it is live, live, and it is leve that they can't separate or they can't stay together. But still, in spite of this kind of differentiate, they still go alone with each other. It's not a high ego of Aquarius and the Leo which we are going to see. It's not a Aquarius Saturn. It's a Capricorn Saturn, and Capricorn Saturn, the Capricorn sign itself comes as a ether level. We have a five elements, the fiery, Agni, Prithvi, Vayu, and Jal is included. Where is the ether? Where is the Akash Tattva, sky? So that is the Capricorn sign. The Capricorn sign itself denotes the sky. It is, denotes the all kind of a galaxy. So these people, in spite of having a lot of a difference of issue, they settle. That's a Capricorn. Now we are moving to the Aquarius people. The Aquarius people is a strong Saturn believer. It's very hard, very difficult to change their belief towards your belief. It is very difficult for the Aquarius people. You hardly change their intention or their attitude because they are learned with their own experience. Their experiencing is giving them results. So there is very less say of any outsider. Here the moon is the lordship of a sixth house. Being moon, not so cordial relation with Saturn. Saturn believe it as a enemy. That's one side. And another side is that the moon sign plays in the sixth house. So if you are not conscious, not keeping your mind into your life, then you might be facing a disease. You might be facing the sixth house, all the negativity. So that is why it is very important. You are just facing in front of you. The Aquarius people just facing the sun, and by doing the exercise with the sun, you are ignoring the moon, which is a sixth lord. All the disease, all the relation, everything will be in the sixth house, but the person are not going to benefit out of it. They have a maternal relationship. They are having all kind of activities to be seen from the sixth house, like a disease or everything. But there's very less determination to come out, very less determination to do something great, something good. So that differs to the Aquarius ascendant. Being Aquarius ascendant, sixth Lord Moon is not a good pleasant house, and it's going to affect the native adversely in related to the disease, in related to the wife relationship, because the wife is the eighth house and wife relationship in the sixth house. So these all are things, and your career, your job is also going to affect. If you are very familiar with the other mode of service, then you can omit this. But this is really a crucial time for the people having moon. Here, if the moon is powerful in the chart, that means you are taking care of yourself as well as your enemies, your job, co-workers, everything. But if it is not, then it is will be very narrow mind and not thinking anything about themselves. So that's inputs of Aquarius ascendant, being ascendant lord having not good relationship, but at least it will be a sixth lord where he can put his emotion and may get a good result related to the sixth moon. So you may also put Kṣaṇāti your own inputs in the Aquarius ascendant where the moon is the sixth lord. Please.
I think I'll take a little change and I'll discuss this from a perspective of my own experience, because I am an Aquarius ascendant with Rahu in 15 degrees. And so Cancer is my sixth lord. So like everything Dr. Dharmesh said being exactly 100% true for my life. With Jyotish, it activates my 10th house, which is Sun, Mercury in Scorpio. So that's much more comfortable vibration. But the sixth house is the house of work, which might not be so fulfilling. And before I became an astrologer, I had many different jobs. I was a hotel assistant manager. I was a cafe manager. And I worked these different jobs, and always during these jobs, these have this heavy emotional impact on me, because I'm only doing the job because I have to. I'm not doing the job because I want to. So there's this heavy emotional energy where now I cannot do any work that I do not love, and I only love Jyotish. So then I have to work only in Jyotish. And even though I like hospitality and I work in that time for some long, anything which is not the most fulfilling work for me can be very difficult for emotionally. I also was event coordinator at a university. I would coordinate alumni events. And I also wanted to cry every day at this job. So pretty much every job I've ever had before Jyotish, make me want to cry. Jyotish is the only job I've ever had that make me want to cry, but these times tears are for happiness.
Oh, great, great. So
And
that's
other thing, because house is enemies. So this activate house of enemies. So I don't always understand emotion very well. It's
mm,
so people who are very emotional, I sometimes become. I'm not always the best at being comforting to people who are emotional. Like in general, Aquarius, and I have Moon and Venus in ninth house. So through logic and reasoning and discussion and talking about spirituality, we can help. But I don't necessarily understand great sadness or in the same way that a Cancer ascendant might. So it's not that I think of anyone with a Cancer vibration as my enemy, but I think I have a difficult time working with emotion and dealing and treating people who are having emotional reactions. Like sometimes when I see someone crying, I just make a face like, well, why are you crying? Because it seems insignificant what they might be crying about. Or even if what they're crying about seems significant, I still have difficult digesting emotion. So that's some of that vibration of the Cancer in the sixth house for Aquarius ascendant from my own experience. And also because of this is the house of disease, first three stages, and the moon is influencing this house. So
right.
this is vulnerability to depression for Aquarius ascendant. And the thing that from my experience, as soon as you begin to listen to the thought of depression, then you fall into the pit. So even when the first thought of depression come in, you cannot feed that thought. You cannot give that thought any energy because that can be a pit of depression and sadness. And so just in general, there is this vibration there to avoid mental illness, to avoid mental challenges. You have to protect your emotional state. You have to protect your emotional nature and so so sometimes the Aquarius ascendant, they like to support the community. They believe in a greater community, but also very important to them is their alone time.
Right.
And the Cancer, it never wants to be alone.
Mm,
It always wants to be there with someone. So sometimes that's why the Cancer vibration is a little difficult for the Aquarius ascendant, is because sometimes the Aquarius ascendant wants to be alone and the Cancer ascendant won't let the Aquarius vibration be alone.
right.
Because they want emotional support, but the Aquarius person might not even understand the emotionality. Because for Aquarius people, they're pragmatic, which means if it works, it works. Which means if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So for the Aquarius ascendant, there's no use in crying about something that already happened.
Very true. Very true. So that's your own experience as well as it match with the ascendant lord and the sixth lord importance, their conflict of interest, and their way of working. So in initial stage, you might have faced lot of problem, but when this Saturn dosha appears or Saturn becomes powerful in your chart, that time you all will be benefited because you all are the Saturn people, and Saturn never gives a result immediately. It's always giving after the long effort. So by approaching the final sign of Pisces, again the repetition of Jupiter and Moon, but at the instant of Sagittarius ascendant, when we have seen is the eighth lord, and here in the Pisces ascendant, when we are seeing the Jupiter itself become positive and become the ascendant, it becomes the fifth lord. Now, being a Pisces ascendant and Moon in the fifth house, so it is showing some connection with the past life. So here we can't deny anything related to the past life. And being moon placed in the fifth house, it also shows that multiple or so many degrees or so many education they are seeking, and they are taking from the distance place. So being a ascendant lord, friendship with the eighth lord, it will be a good startup, good result, and whatever you are accumulating in the past life, at least you are able to enjoy in this life, because it's a fifth lord. And in the Pisces, we normally say to the all the function that Pisces is a sign whereby all the accumulation of Aries to Aquarius, whatever the things has been created, this all will be deposited in the this Meena, means Pisces ascendant or Pisces moon. Very quiet. You might not heard anything about the Pisces, where they are very silent, but they always being drawn by the time, because they are very particular of a time. When you call someone on the dot time and he appear within that time, that kind of emergency, that kind of things, always there is a good relation with the ascendant lord with the fifth house. So that is a manifold work that people has to see from this combination. But main thing is that you see the report, you see the classes or action which has been done in the fifth house, because fifth house is higher education, fifth house is communication, fifth house is attachment with your past period time where you have met, and now there's a gap. So this is very important, being a Pisces ascendant lord, and the fifth lord, both are good on the prospect of Jupiter. But literally it gives a good result, because Mars is placed very well in the chart, as well as its lordship also will not be suffer. So that way the Pisces ascendant will be also, because it's a very small ascendant, we can't describe much things about the Pisces. So this is a last zodiac sign for what you have to put your inputs. Just put it, Kṣaṇāti.
Thank you, Dr. Dharmesh Ji. Yes, it's very interesting to look at Pisces and moon relationship, because Pisces can be very, very ungrounded, and the moon, when it's very hypersensitive, can be ungrounded. So the position of the moon for the Pisces ascendant, it's very important, because if the moon, it's good if the moon is in Taurus, the moon is in Rohini, etc., because it will ground the energy of the Pisces vibration. Because the Pisces vibration, they're living in like two different worlds. One hand in the Sarga and one hand on the earth. And they live in this place between the two worlds. And that is very difficult to deal with emotionally. So you need to be in the moon strong position. But if for the Pisces ascendant, the moon is in a very difficult position. And as Dr. Dharmesh mentioned, it activated through the fifth house, which is our past lifetime karma. So you can actually see people born with mental illnesses. And this is a result of the past lifetime karma. You can see this resulting through the positioning of the Pisces ascendant and the fifth house. They could have some difficult karma that they're bringing in terms of their mental functioning, in terms of their maybe autism and other spectrums of this disorder. So the moon position for the Pisces ascendant is absolutely significant. And the rulership of the fifth house, it shows that this is also the house of the children.
Yeah.
So they can be very much living in their own world, the Pisces ascendant. They could very much be living in their own world, and into unique philosophies, and they could be kind of like living outside of the normal constructs of society. But then the activation of the moon on the fifth house, it shows that they might have children. They might have, which they would have a devotional energy towards. So it would show that would keep them grounded in this life too. So So again, the moon energy is very important for the Piscean energy in terms of if the moon is in good position, it can really ground the Piscean vibration. But if the moon is in the difficult position, it can really help facilitate a disruption of the mental groundedness. And so the person can deal with mental fluctuations and mood disorders and mental challenges. So again, the moon position, its rulership on the 5th house, coming in from our past lifetime, showing the moon position being very significant for the Pisces ascendant. And thank you, Dr. Dharmesh, for taking this time with me and sharing this work with me. I'm so grateful for your wisdom and knowledge and application and examples. And I've just really enjoyed our time together. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, me too. Namaste.
Namaste.